So today is the day the original Copart MX5 leaves the stable. So as you can see, we've stripped it pretty much completely. The suspension, brakes are staying on, as well as some of the engine bits, but we've stripped most of the accessories, just left the braking system, salvaged as much as we could that we know worked. Oh yeah, we've also left the fuel pump and tank in, and like I said in an earlier video, I was sat on a dash for ages and I don't want that taking up room. It's not worth much anyway, so it can just go with this. I could have spent a little bit more time on it, maybe taking the clock spring out and the gauges and the carpet, but for all intents and purposes, you know, might take an hour to do, and I'd rather just spend my time doing something else at this point. I've made my money back on the car itself in just selling some parts alone. I've still got loads of parts left, and I'm about to get a little bit of money for this now upon pickup. So yeah, that's it. The MX5 saga is well and truly over now, and we get to move on to something else. So yeah, bye-bye MX5. So I'm about to take a drive down to a Saab breaker in Leeds. I'll post a link to his Facebook page below. Essentially, I'm running down there now to get a rear bumper. The Saab 9.3s have a few different blacks, and because the year of my car, it was made on the 1st of the 1st 2006, it straddles 3 different colours of black, and in photos it's very hard to see, so you need to ID the paint code. And a lot of people online just put black bumper when it could. Is it jet black 298? Is it 289 espresso black? Is it 170 regular black solid? So the particular bumper I need is a 298 jet black, which went from, I believe, 2006 to 2009, and it came on the last pre-facelift cars and the facelifted cars. Anywho, the gent down there, or up there rather, in Leeds, has a rear bumper. It has some scuffs on it, but the damage is nowhere near as bad as what's on the car we've currently got. So I think some of it will either need to be touched up or buffed out. It has the trim piece that I need because it's missing one trim piece. And yeah, it's just a standard bumper off a linear or a vector without the aero kit. So I can take my aero kit, put it on that bumper. Anyway, he's asking only 30 quid for this bumper, which is a steal. So I'm going to drive up there now, grab it, and you know, put it in the garage ready for it to be fitted in the coming days once it's not raining. So yeah, off to Leeds. So I am back from Leeds, where I met a really great fella called Ron. He's Ron Saab Leeds on Facebook. I'll link his details in the comments below. And I grabbed myself a bumper. Let's just remind ourselves what the bumper looks like currently on the car. So as you can see, it's missing its quarter trim. It's got a gaping hole in it. It's got the aero skirt, 2 lights, seem in good condition, and it's got the main centre bit of trim and the left hand side. This side, fine. This side, not so much. But we managed to nab same paint colour bumper for £30, which was a steal, which came with the right trim, ironically enough, without the aero clip. This has a bit of damage on it, but we've got one on the old bumper which we can replace that with. It's not perfect, it'll scrub up nicely, but it does have some marks here which can be touched in but I think it will do the job and it will look, you know, way beyond what's currently on the car. Also, I grabbed myself the HVAC controls, purely because the buttons on this one are responsive and work, and albeit not every button is pristine, it's a lot cleaner than the one that's actually in the car. Plus I can take some of the buttons from that and swap them over and just get the nicest set as possible. There's also the rear light, which hopefully, is that open? Yeah. Which we grabbed from a breakage yard in Oldham, and I've also got myself battery cover and the clips for the battery cover to go on. So we've got a few bits to fit. The only thing that we haven't got anything related to currently is anything to fix the airbag light. Now I need to do a bit of investigation. Could be the clock spring. What's leading me away from that is that the actual controls on the steering wheel actually do work. So that to me suggests it's not the clock spring itself. So I want to do some investigation, you know, behind the wheel, underneath the seat, to see whether or not anything's become unplugged or anything's been snipped or clipped or whatever, or anything's missing, before I start going a bit deeper and throwing parts at it. So I need to do a bit more investigation on that. Anywho, for the time being, I think what we can do is we can lift this car a lot just by taking this bumper off, swapping what we need from that one onto the other used one we have, replacing the light, and going from there. So first thing I need to do is I need to tidy up the garage because it's an absolute tip, but then get some tools out and take these lights out so that I can actually get the bumper off. Also, you may have noticed that the brake, or the broken MX5, is gone. That went earlier today, and you know, I got stood up by removemycar.co.uk. Whatever breaker they use in the local area just decided not to turn up despite an appointment. So whoever you are, fuck you. It really pisses me off when you make an appointment and you don't turn up, you don't ring in advance, you don't answer calls. It's just scummy behaviour. So they got a bad review. And then I used car.co.uk, and then a guy called, I want to say Steve, turned up. He phoned me an hour in advance. He turned up on time. He collected the vehicle despite it being broken, no problems. The price was guaranteed before the pickup. £50 is what they gave me for it, and this car was stripped, mind you. So it, you know, it was £183 for a complete car, which, you know, is pennies, but we've already made that money back from parts we've sold, and we've still got plenty of parts left. They gave me £50 for the carcass. I was happy with that. They took it, no issues. The money was in my account within minutes. So all in all, car.co.uk, the experience with them and the scrappy or the recovery service they used in my neck of the woods did a great job, so kudos to them. So yeah, the MX5's gone, and now that gives me more space to work on the Saab without tripping over myself. So let's get started. Okay, so we have the current aero bumper off. Ultimately, what it was is once you've taken the lights off, which is 4 10mm nuts around the back of each light, they pull out. It's usually one connector into it, dead easy. Then there'll be 2 bolts on above or near either light, underneath the actual lights themselves for the bumper. Then you've got 2 nuts on either arch, and then underneath in the middle you can see where it's been there, there's two nuts. So there's 2 bolts either arch and then 2 nuts on the underside. if you've got the aero trim. Scratch that. It's if you've got the aero trim, there's 3 bolts either side, 2 for the main bumper and then 1 for the aero trim in the corner, and then 2 in the middle for the aero trim as well. If you don't have the aero trim, I'd imagine there's something else, but I can't speak for that. So this is what it looks like currently. Just giving it a quick clean of any real dirt. But you can see, take a good look at this side. That's how it's bonded from the factory. Now this is a Cat N, remember. This is what's happened here. So that, I'm not sure. Is that classed as structural damage? I'm not certain. Any people who are, anyone who is educated on the matter, let me know. It's to the body itself, so I'd imagine that's structural. To be honest, I don't think that's going to do anything. But what I am going to do to that is just clean it up a little bit. I'm going to spray some Lano Guard or something over it, maybe some Pomerite, just to try and seal it. But the actual, the crash bar looks slightly, like ever so slightly. It's ever so slightly, no, it looks pushed in about ½ an inch as well. I'll be honest, I don't think it's actually going to do anything to this car. It's a Cat N, and this doesn't look like it's super bad. But is that Cat N, or would that technically be classed as a Cat S? I don't know. I'm still unsure what I want to do with the car. If I was going to sell it and try and get top money, then that might be something that's worth replacing. But since it's a Cat N, and I might end up keeping it for a bit, I think I'm just going to clean that up and get a new bumper on. And then see how we go from there. The odd clips here and there. This bumper was on solid despite it having an accident, so I think I'm just going to transfer everything I can over from this to the new unit and put it on, see how it looks, see if it fits correctly. But from the looks of that, yes, there's some damage. That is, this area here is pushed in ever so slightly, the crash beam. But I think we're good to go. What do people think? Anywho, gonna start transferring this stuff over now, and we'll continue on. So this is the bumper that we've got to go on. As you can see, there's no big gaping hole in the side, but there is bits of lacquer peel and scratches here and there. Had a broken reflector which I've just removed. I'll clean this area up. The scratches and marks, but on the whole, I think once it's cleaned, it will, you know, it's commensurate with the rest of the car. It will complement it just fine. The car's not pristine. We can touch up some of these and a lot will buff out. The nastiest bit is here, but to be fair, most of this is seen under the boot anyway. These are the bits I salvaged from the old boot, sorry, the old bumper. That was the bad reflector I've just taken off the incoming bumper. They have these little notches on them which break super easily. I had to actually break a majority of mine off because they were all like rusted to the plastic. So happy days. And there is the old bumper. I'm probably still going to save that 9.3 just for something else. But you can tell here, look at that. That was the damage. And I'm sure someone somewhere can plastic weld that, push it out, you know, prime it and fill it and then make it beautiful again. But could they do most of that or 80% of that work for 30 quid? Probably not. So this is, in my opinion, a better option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start assembling this bumper now with the stuff that we have. So yeah, let's get to it. I think first things first, I'm going to try and... Which way does this go in? I'm assuming that way. Looks like it can go either way, but you have to make sure there's no locator on, is there? Just the middle one. Okay, so it is that way. It's got a small notch which fits on the underside. There we go. So that needs to plug into that one. So. I think seems to all be pushed in. Let's turn it around so I can get the aero and this thing clean. Best one of these we have. Okay. So this should be fairly easy to just push in. It's just, for the most part, clipping on this thing. Just need to line it up. The annoying thing is, I guess with the table I'm using, is hard to get it lined up so it can fit easily. Okay, that might do it. So I believe there's like a center clip, which is this one. That's the locator pin by the looks of things. So once you put that in the middle, oops, it's just off center. Oops. This would probably be much easier to do on the car, if I'm all honest. So let me just grab this, pop it on. Oh, in fact, before I do that, let me come and show you what I've done here. So I did a bit of a wipe down there, spray. That's been left to dry for 20 minutes, and now I'm going to do a bit of Schultz on there to help it not rust. So this is liquid moly unter Bodenschutz, so which is under seal essentially. Giving that a bit of shake, and just trying to get in every nook and cranny to make sure nothing's missed, but that can just be left to dry now. I don't think there'll be any need for more and more coats. What I'll do is I'll just put the bumper over it and it should just dry. Okie dokie. So we've got the, I don't know what they call that, the polystyrene bumper support thingamajiggle. We'll get that bumper put on, and then once that bumper's on, I think it's just going to be easier to locate and fit the aero trim, because it's just a nightmare messing around on a table. It's because it's so windy. Anywho, let me reset the camera up and we can get this bumper on and then fix the rear lights. And I think that's where we'll call it for today. Just want to locate it through these light holes first. Or the holes just underneath the rear light. They're like a guide. Nice. Other side. Already looks a lot better. Bit scratchy, but hey ho, c'est la vie. What are you gonna do? Now, time for this aero trim. So, offer this up first before everything's screwed in. So it is there. Get a couple of these in just so that it's nice and solid. What are we on number 8? I think it was these ones. Just needs screwing down everywhere, so let us do the 2 central ones underneath first. I think they're going to be the ones, if anything, will give us grief. Yeah, let's go. Need a small ratchet for this. For all intents and purposes, minus the wind, it's a good colour match as well. But yeah, minus the wind, this has been a really easy bumper removal and install. I'd probably say one of the easiest I've ever done, in all honesty. If this was done in like a unit or something like that, or undercover, then or on a non-windy day, that would be nice. Then yeah, super easy. So very happy with that. So there is the replacement bumper on. Not too shabby, like I say, you know, yes, it has a bit of a scuff mark there, and it's got, you know, it's dirty. This lacquer peel here, hopefully, you know, once this is down, you don't really get a good view of it, to be honest. There is this mark here, but I think a lot of that will probably just buff out, or at least look a lot cleaner. Bit of a gouge there and there, but they can be filled in a little bit so they don't stand out anywhere near as much. But all in all, again, £500 car, yep, £30 bumper. This car currently owes me £530. You know, when we put the light in, it owes me £560. When we put this new unit in, £600. So, you know, the battery cover I think was a £5. So, yeah, not a lot of money on being spent on this currently. You know, it's what, 600? It's definitely sub, you know, 650. And it looks this good. Are you kidding me? 650. You know, people pick these up for that price to break. This is in half decent condition and drives pretty sweet. So onto the lights. First thing I need to do is take all the gubbins from the old bad light and then put them into a new light, and then literally just plug them in and give them a test. So let's get on with that. Let's get all the lights on the table, shall we, and see what we need. So we have outer passenger, outer driver old, and outer driver new. Now, the way they give us this was cut up, obviously, like they usually do at most breakers yards. So let's just remove all the bulbs and the bit of the harness. Okay, so are these bulbs all good? That looks good. That looks good. And that looks good. I mean, to be fair, they all look pretty good. Yeah, can't really see any problems with them. They're not broken anyway, so I think we'll go ahead and we'll try this in the car. And, you know, we won't put everything on, obviously. I believe these are, what are they, two-stage lights, so they have two different power outputs. Bloody hell, how do these go in? The keyed a specific way, if I put them in the wrong way. That's why. That might be why. Let me just have a look at the light that I've got going on. So green is to the right. Okay, yeah, I just put them in the wrong way. Pay attention to your lights when you put them in. Not obvious. Okay, so I think one of these lights is bad. Yeah, that one doesn't look healthy. Don't know if you can see that on camera. That looks absolutely blasted inside, so let's take, hopefully, is this a good one? Yep. We're good to get these in. I'm going to give the seals a clean, and then we'll get these in the car. Jesus Christ, could they please go back in the hole? I'm going to give these a quick wipe down. These bulbs, they look a bit crusty anyway, to be honest. That bulb can be binned. That I'll save for now, just in case the harness is balked. But we'll throw this bad bulb away. We'll put these in there as spares for now. And I will plug these in, and I just want to give these a quick test to see whether or not the warning light has gone. Okay, so passenger. It's just, I haven't cleaned these yet. I'll just put them in for now, give them a test, make sure they work. New driver. New to us anyway. Okay, let's grab the keys. Let's see how we go. So, car on. Left brake light failure. Airbag malfunction. Clear, clear. So, you'll have to tell me whether or not we're good. So we've got driving lights, brake lights. And what I can do is, brake light, brake light. Just give the hazards a quick flick. Click, 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 click. Yeah, amber, amber, brilliant. Let's turn that off. And then what I can do is I have a piece of wood that I use for times like this. Oh, that's interesting. I see one light in there. I see two in there. Let's just move that seat forward a bit. Bright. That's bright as well. So the brake lights work, but that one bulb doesn't, so I wonder if it's something to do with the harness. Or could it be that bulb? It does look a bit corroded, to be fair. Let's just try this one, which yeah, less corroded, same type. Fits in a lot nicer. Age-old test. Let's just, ow, ow, ow. Swap with the known good. Okay, I've fitted him now. They're a slightly different type of bayonet fitment to what I'm used to, so hopefully... No? Okay, so that must be a bad bulb. That is literally it, it's a bad bulb. I thought I was fitting him wrong. No, I was fitting him okay. But what was getting it is I did a bulb swap with the known working bulb, and yeah, that was not playing good times. Okay, is that working now? Seems to be on. But it doesn't seem to be bright, if I'm reading that right. No, that's actually fine. I think now, if I should have lights on. Hey, good times, all four. Nice, and then it's the outer ones that brighten up. Okay, cool. So it literally was a bulb. It was just plain daft. But now they're good to go. I can turn the car off, get them installed proper, just give them a bit of a clean, and we're good to go. We have lights, so cool. Let's get on with that. So there is the replacement bumper. Lights are in. It's not 100% perfect, but I think it's slightly misaligned because of the accident, maybe. I'm gonna have a quick check of that, but yeah, I think it's a night and day difference. It's done a cool job. And one other thing we just did, I'll show you. Give this a pop. We installed our battery cover, yay! And then the 2 new pop rivets, which, believe it or not, OEM brand new, cost more than the battery cover cost, which is insane. But finally, some progress on the Saab. You guys probably see this a week apart from the prior video, but for me, this has been sat on the driveway for, you know, the better part of like 3 weeks. And now that the Mazda's gone and the braking Mazda's out of the way, I now have the room and space and time to focus on this lad. So we're going to be doing more on this. Next, we want to go through and install ourselves the replacement controls, and then dig a little bit deeper into the airbag issue. So when I start it up, comes up with the airbag issue, I need to first check under the seat, some cabling, and then maybe, if that's a no-go, check behind the steering wheel, the clock spring squib. I'm not sure it's going to be that because the controls work, so we'll see. It could be something else entirely, but hopefully it's something under the seat and it's linked, and it's a case of just plugging something in and Bob's your uncle. Then we can get to tidying the car proper, i.e. cleaning this bumper proper so it matches the rest of the car, giving the rest of the car a bit of a, maybe a polish. And then the interior needs doing massively as well. So I think we're going to call it there for this video. It's been a good time actually getting stuck into the Saab. Like I say, the Saab's been sat on my drive for about 3 weeks now. You guys, you know, it's only been a week apart since the last video probably. And I've been itching to get stuck into it because it's something new, it's something fresh, it's something I've never worked on or even driven before. But yeah, I'm absolutely adoring it so far. I can't wait to, you know, give it a proper deep scrub and a bit of a polish to see how good it comes out. You know, give those headlights a buff, figure out what's going on with the airbag. I am really looking forward to that, and maybe even getting stuck into some of the mechanicals. If you're looking forward to more Saab content, then why don't you give the channel a subscribe? And you know, you'll get a notification if you hit that bell icon as to when a new video does go live. Between now and then, I might pop up some content on the S2000, the F-Type, and maybe even the Insignia, which actually shares a lot of its lineage with Saab cars because they were both owned by GM, or both created by GM, these particular models. Yeah, a subscribe would be huge, right? I want to get to 1,000 subscribers sooner rather than later, which would be absolutely fantastic. So thank you in advance for any help. If you found the video entertaining or informative, then give it a like. That would be cool. And comment as well if there's anything you want to see, you know, or you know, there's anything in particular that interests you about any of the cars I've got. Then you know, I want to hear it. So don't be a stranger. Until next time then, take care, have fun, and I'll speak to you soon.